May peace and blessings be upon you. There are truths we only discover in the heart of silence, calls we only hear when everything around us is crumbling. And sometimes, without warning, a conviction rises in our hearts. You were not created to follow. You were made to lead, not as the world sees fit, but as Allah decrees. We are living in a time of upheaval, a period marked by bewilderment, confusion, and a search for bearings that seem to dissolve. And yet, in this dark night, Allah lights up lights in certain hearts. These are the ones He prepares in secret, those He shapes in silence, in pain, in the world's incomprehension. These people do not always suspect that they are being trained to lead, not by authority, but by spiritual guidance. Not to command, but to guide wounded humanity toward the light of Allah. Nothing in their journey was left to chance. Every betrayal, every failure, every breakup, every tearful prayer, all of this was part of God's preparation. For Allah, when He chooses a chosen one, never sends them into battle without first purifying, breaking, rebuilding, and strengthening them. He teaches them patience in solitude, faith in the unseen, and clarity in darkness. But what you must understand right now is that this leadership you are called to does not resemble the images of power this world sells you. It does not manifest itself in the spotlight, nor in pride. It is gentle, humble, solid, constant. It is the ability to stand tall when everyone else is faltering, to raise your voice when everyone else is silent, to open a path where there is only ruin. And if, today, you feel this weight in your heart, if you feel that you are not made to follow the crowd, if your soul is calling you to something else, even if you don't know what yet, then this message is for you. Perhaps you are one of those whom Allah is forming. Perhaps you are one of the chosen ones. And perhaps your true mission begins today. One of the first signs that confirms that you are among Allah's chosen ones is this profound feeling of isolation. This is not ordinary isolation, the kind you choose to rest or concentrate, but an isolation that seems to impose itself on you, against your will. You observe around you that your efforts are not understood, that relationships are crumbling, that hearts are closing. You are often alone, not out of envy, but because the world does not recognize you, and sometimes even rejects you. This can be destabilizing and painful, yet it is a divine sign. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, often chooses to distance His chosen ones from the tumult of the world so that they can grow differently, in a spiritual dimension that few perceive. The prophets themselves experienced this reality. Consider, for example, the Prophet Muhammad. Peace and blessings be upon him. He was isolated, rejected, and mocked for many years before his mission was fully recognized. It was a period of trial, but also of intense preparation. Isolation allows the soul to purify itself, to detach itself from the distractions and trappings of society. It creates a sacred space where Allah can instill His guidance, where His voice can be heard without the noise of the world. It is a time when the relationship between you and your Creator becomes more intimate, stronger. You learn to be self-sufficient in Allah, and this is where true strength is built. Sometimes this isolation is also protection. Allah sets you apart to protect you from harmful influences, false paths, and mistakes that could have diverted you from your mission. It's like a secret garden where your faith grows far from the storms. And even if you feel loneliness as a burden, remember that it's a necessary step for the divine light to grow within you. It is no coincidence that you feel alone even though you are surrounded. It is no coincidence that you sometimes feel invisible to others. It is a sign that you are being prepared for something great, a spiritual responsibility beyond your imagination. The world does not yet recognize you, but Allah recognizes you perfectly. Every moment of isolation is a lesson in endurance. Every moment spent in silence is a silent prayer, a secret dialogue with Allah. You are being refined, polished, prepared for a leadership role. This sign is therefore a blessing in disguise, a stepping stone to your destiny. Another undeniable sign that you are among Allah's chosen ones is this intense spiritual sensitivity that sets you apart from others. This is not an ordinary sensitivity, nor a mere passing emotion, but a profound perception that touches the soul and opens your heart to realities invisible to most people. You feel things that others do not. You are touched by the beauty of a verse from the Quran, by the grandeur of a divine reminder, or even by a simple breath of nature, like a sign from Allah. Your heart trembles before an injustice, an oppression, a suffering that others prefer to ignore. Sometimes you cry without really knowing why, simply because your soul is in touch with a reality greater than that of the material world. This hypersensitivity is both a gift and a challenge. A gift because it brings you closer to Allah and opens the doors to inner knowledge. A challenge because it can make you vulnerable to the trials, the pain of the world, and the weight of responsibility you sometimes feel on your shoulders. Allah's chosen ones do not live in comfortable indifference. They are always alert, ready to hear the call, to discern the signs, to understand the signs of the times. This acute sensitivity is often misunderstood. Others may judge you as too sensitive, too dreamy, too distant. But what you are experiencing is an inner preparation. Allah is shaping your heart to become a pure mirror, capable of reflecting His light in the darkest moments. This ability to feel, to perceive, is part of the work of a spiritual leader. Before you can guide others, you must be able to understand their suffering, their doubts, their wounds. And that's what this sensitivity develops in you: divine empathy. In the Quran, Allah speaks of those whose hearts are alive, who feel the divine presence even in small things. It is no accident that you feel this spiritual intensity. It is proof that your soul is awake, ready to accomplish a mission. But this sensitivity must be protected. We must learn to channel it, to purify it, and not let ourselves be overwhelmed by emotions or spiritual fatigue. Balance comes through prayer, dhikr, meditation, and trust in Allah. These are tools you must integrate into your life to transform this sensitivity into lasting strength. Remember that the greatest spiritual leaders in history all experienced this inner intensity. They learned to listen to this deep voice, to feel this weight in their hearts, and to surrender to it completely. This enabled them to lead with wisdom, patience, and compassion. Another sign that marks the destiny of Allah's chosen ones is this paradoxical experience. They often experience repeated failures in their material, social, or professional lives, while internally, their hearts remain intact, strong, and full of hope. This duality may seem incomprehensible to many, but it is actually one of the pillars of divine training. Many of those called to a spiritual mission in the end times experience periods of rejection, disappointment, and even humiliation. They may fail their studies, lose a job, see their projects collapse, or even be misunderstood by those closest to them. Yet these failures are not a reflection of incapacity, but rather the mark of a divine process that aims to purify their faith, strengthen their patience, and teach them to rely solely on Allah. This phenomenon is also mentioned in the Quran. And do not say of him who is killed in the way of Allah, he is dead. Rather, they are alive, but you are not aware of it. Surah Al-Baqarah 154. In the same way, those who seem to be losing in this world are in reality experiencing an inner victory that only they can perceive. Their material life is a test, a crucible in which their soul is forged. The consistent inner success referred to here is peace of heart, unwavering hope, and trust in Allah's plan. It is the feeling that, despite everything that happens, Allah is by their side, guiding them and never abandoning them. This spiritual resilience is what truly sets them apart. We must understand that the dunya, this material world, is not the ultimate place of our success. Allah constantly reminds us that true victory lies in the hereafter, and that what we experience here is fleeting, sometimes even a necessary test. Those whom the world rejects, Allah truly elevates them to spheres that eyes cannot see. This paradox of apparent failure and profound inner success is also a way to teach humility. Allah's chosen ones do not seek glory or human recognition. Their mission is greater: to be faithful witnesses, bearers of light, even when all seems lost. It is also important to remember that repeated failure is a means of purification. Sometimes, Allah removes what is superficial, what could lead one astray, what could fuel pride. In this school of life, every difficulty, every closed door, every rejection is a lesson, a step toward spiritual maturity. So you can recognize yourself in this sign if you have gone through or are going through difficult times that seem endless. But despite this, you have not lost faith, patience, and trust in Allah. You may be being prepared for a role much greater than you imagine. It is not popularity, material success, or human approval that matters to Allah, but sincerity, steadfastness, and faith. And these qualities are revealed precisely in times of failure when all seems lost, but the heart remains steadfast. Among the essential qualities that Allah's chosen ones develop, patience in the face of hardship is arguably the most precious. It is not simply an ability to endure hardship, but a true spiritual strength that sets them apart from others. Patience is the key that unlocks the doors to divine success. It is the light that illuminates the path, even when darkness seems total. In life, there is no shortage of trials. They come in various forms: losses, misunderstandings, loneliness, physical or emotional pain. But what characterizes the chosen ones is that they do not give in to discouragement. Their patience is not limited to mere endurance, but becomes an act of faith, an act of worship. They know that every difficulty is an opportunity to draw closer to Allah and strengthen their faith. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Patience is light." Sahih Muslim. This light guides the chosen ones through the darkness, allowing them to maintain confidence even in the darkest moments. Patience transforms suffering into a source of blessing, for Allah generously rewards those who persevere. This patience is also a weapon against haste, anger, and despair. It allows the chosen ones to remain calm, thoughtful, and confident in divine wisdom, even when everything seems to be going against them. It is this patience that gives them the strength to continue, to move forward, to pray, and to rely on Allah. Patience does not mean inaction. Rather, it accompanies a silent determination to fulfill Allah's will, to pursue the mission, to do good despite obstacles. Allah's chosen ones understand that the speed of results is not in their hands, but that their role is to sow, to work, and to let Allah make what must grow in the time He has appointed. There is also a communal dimension to this patience. Sometimes, elected officials feel isolated, misunderstood, or even rejected. But their patience allows them to keep an open heart, to continue to love, to forgive, and to reach out. They know that their mission is also to be examples of wisdom, gentleness, and perseverance. Finally, patience is linked to hope. It never despairs of Allah's mercy, never renounces His promise. It keeps the flame of faith alive, even when everything seems bleak, even when results are slow in coming. It is this hopeful patience that prepares the chosen one to receive the great blessings that Allah reserves for those who stand firm. A fundamental element that distinguishes Allah's chosen ones is the intimate connection they maintain with their Lord. This bond, often invisible to the world, is the secret source of all their strength, endurance, and guidance. It is this direct, deep, and sincere relationship with Allah that sustains them in times of trial, gives them clarity in times of doubt, and peace in times of turmoil. This connection is built through prayer, dhikr, and the reading of the Quran, but also through a constant presence of the heart and mind with Allah. It is not a mechanical act or a mere habit, but a true communion, a silent dialogue where the soul opens itself to receive divine light. The chosen ones do not simply perform rituals. They seek to feel Allah's presence in every gesture, every word, every breath. They know that closeness to Allah is the key to hearing His voice, to understanding His will, to discerning the path to follow when the way seems obscure. This divine intimacy is not given to everyone. It is earned through constancy, sincerity, and total surrender to Allah. It is a grace that transforms the life of the chosen one, filling his heart with unshakable confidence and a serenity that nothing can disturb. Intimate connection is also a source of healing. It soothes the wounds of the soul, heals doubts, and dispels fear. It offers an inner peace that surpasses all human understanding, a quiet strength that allows one to face storms with courage. In the Quran, Allah says, "And when my servants ask you concerning me, then I am near. I answer the prayer of the one who prays to me when he prays to me." Surah Al-Baqarah 186. This closeness is the refuge of the chosen ones, their secret strength when the world seems to abandon them. This divine connection is also the source of inspiration and wisdom. It illuminates their hearts, giving them ideas, solutions, and insights that transcend human logic. It guides their words and actions, making them authentic leaders, bearers of light. Without this intimate relationship with Allah, the mission of the chosen ones would be impossible. It is this bond that allows them to stand firm, to keep the faith, and not be overwhelmed by doubts or attacks. It is their anchor in the truth, their spiritual compass. The final step that confirms the vocation of one of Allah's chosen ones is the profound awareness of their sacred responsibility. Being chosen does not only mean receiving spiritual gifts, but also accepting the immense weight of this mission. Carrying divine light into an often dark world, being a beacon in the storm, is a burden that only sincere and strong hearts can bear. This responsibility manifests itself first through awareness. You know that you are no longer simply one individual among many, but an instrument in the hands of Allah to accomplish a greater purpose. This changes everything. Every word, every deed, every thought becomes an offering, a form of worship. This responsibility is sacred. It elevates the soul and demands total commitment. The obstacles will be numerous. You will face misunderstanding, rejection, mockery, and sometimes even persecution. But this trial is part of the journey. Allah reminds us in the Quran, "Think not of those who are killed in the cause of Allah as dead. Rather, they live with their Lord well provided." Surah Al-Imran 169. Difficulties are only a test, a necessary purification for those who carry such light. Carrying this light also means enlightening others, even those who are not ready to receive it. It is a mission of love, patience, and sacrifice. Sometimes you will have to reach out to those who reject you, pray for those who hurt you, and persevere even when all seems lost. This responsibility requires extraordinary spiritual strength, but also profound humility. Being a chosen one means accepting that the path is not always glorious. It means often walking alone, trusting that God guides your steps. It means understanding that greatness is not measured by human honors, but by faithfulness to His word and steadfastness in faith. This sacred role is also a source of inner peace. Even in the face of storms, you know you are fulfilling a divine mission. This certainty soothes the soul, giving meaning to every effort, every struggle. It transforms pain into light, loneliness into communion with Allah. Finally, this responsibility is a call to constant vigilance. Elected officials must always be careful not to fall into pride, vanity, or spiritual fatigue. They must remain humble, purify themselves, and renew their commitment every day. Sacred responsibility is a call to moral and spiritual perfection. You are called to carry this light. You are chosen for this mission. Even if the obstacles seem insurmountable, know that Allah's reward is immense and that your place with Him is assured if you persevere.